Akasha, and I'm super happy that you've joined me here. This is going to be an incredibly fun and healing and joy-filling experience. So what we're doing is I'm going to be coming on multiple times a week, and we don't have a schedule, so it might be spontaneously and channeling something, doing a healing, maybe doing Lemurian cards, talking to the cosmic dolphins, the Delphinus constellation, talking to the Dolphin Collective, to the Dolphin Spirit Guides, to the dolphins that are actually here physically in our 3D oceans. And there's all different levels of the experience of talking to or communicating with other species, because we aren't just a physical body. We're a spiritual being. We are source energy that formed a soul, that became a part of that soul, that came down here into this body and created a 3D structure so we could have an experience. Dolphins and dragons and dogs and cats and crystals and everything else in form has the same thing. They have a spirit self, they have a conscious self, they have a super conscious self, let's say, and they have more usually connection and knowledge. From when I began doing animal communication a really long time ago, on my spiritual path, everything fell apart, and my business at the time was a fashion design business, and I had done very, very well. It was in magazines and selling to department stores and all of this kind of stuff and catalogs, and then the economy crashed and nobody paid me, and even the department stores went bankrupt, and that was a shock, and so it was a deconstruction of my life. Now it's one of my favorite things that happened, because it redirected me onto my spiritual path, onto my path of looking past, go to a job, work really hard, and suffer. So I was raised that way. Good Midwestern work values, meaning work all the time, and the more you work and the harder you suffer, the better you are looked at. And so no spiritual upbringing, very little religious upbringing. So the idea that there was anything except to get a job, you know, don't embarrass us, be the best, but don't think you're great, work hard and all this stuff, and you'll just keep making more money at your job and you just stay there, and that whole idea, well, the world isn't that way anymore, is it? And you probably discovered on your path, that's not your path. Your path is to be a more individual and expressive being. So together we're going to have an incredible experience, and this is our first one. And the reason that I love this is that the world is waking up. It is breaking down, cracking open. You have to have the deconstruction and the metamorphosis in order for the butterfly to even form or decide to break free. And we're in the middle of the metamorphosis, all right? The breakdown is still happening. We're watching the polarities. We're changing how we perceive our life, what's valuable to us, what we value. And, sorry, I probably bumped that. And we have an idea now of these higher levels of consciousness, these other dimensions, that we are so much more than our physical body and our bills and our identity. And so when all that happened for me, I went to the bookstore and bought Shirley MacLaine's book, Out on a Limb. And this was way back when it came out. And it's been a long time. And because it was the only thing I'd ever heard of that was strange and unusual, and I didn't understand any of it. I started to meditate and check books out at the library. I couldn't absorb enough. Things were blowing my mind. Reincarnation, beings on other planets. It just was like cosmic dolphins, you know. The whole idea was just, what? And yet that part of me that was fully connected to the magic of the world, especially when I was a child, was so resonant with that. In fact, my family used to tell me, oh, you and your butterfly ways, you skip along and you talk to your imaginary friends or your fairy friends. And yes, I did, and they were very real. And now I know that they really, really, really are real in the way that we think. And yet we've all been told to poo-poo our intuition, that it's silly, that it's feminine intuition, it's just a silly hunch. It's a superstition. It's bad. It's evil. Whatever it is, none of that is true. So part of the waking up now is hearing, sensing, receiving, and sending more messages, communicating on more realms in more vibrations, communicating with Gaia, but what about the 80 million zillion different species living in Gaia that are a part of her like we are? We're made from her body, but have a completely different makeup, right? Every one of these stones has a different element to it, a different personality, a different healing skill, and it knows what it is, right? So we're here with our dolphins and our beautiful altar, and I'm just going to light some copal here. And you can tune in all of these beautiful beings. I have lots of them around the house, and we talk to each other. So I communicate with the crystals, and I communicate with gods, goddesses, ascended masters, with tree spirits, with fairy realms, with the ocean, with the elements, with the dolphins and the mermaids. I talk to them every day. I go out here. I just have been doing this long enough, 30 some years, that I live this magic life every day. And it is my life. It's not, I wish it was my life, or it's my life when I'm not busy doing everything else in my life. There's a point when you have to integrate, and we're in that moment because we don't have an option anymore to wait for the moment to drop in our lap and say, hey, you're ascending, and here's the way, and here's your treats, and don't worry about it. It's a bit of a bloody process, maybe, because it's birth. It's death and rebirth. So you can come into the sacred space. Hi, I know, I just adored her. And that first book, they were making fun of her all the time in Hollywood. I lived in LA. And it was later in the 80s, and I just thought I didn't know what else to do, so I went and bought Shirley MacLaine's book. And then she talked about this place in New Mexico, which I ended up moving there and then going to, and then it was just an opening to learning, right, what kind of things were out there. We didn't have the internet back then. Now we do. Woo! Now we can talk instantly together in the same moment. So the magic to me is the most important part, because for me, life was so magical when I was a little kid. I could skip along. Everything was alive. I could see energies. And then slowly people tell you it's silly. Stop doing that. It's your imagination. Or depending on your upbringing, it's bad or it's evil. And now we're reawakening to that, whatever length of time you've been on that path, but it's happening faster and more people. And so despite what you see out here, the drama of the breakdown, that's all happening through people who are attached to the current structure. And we are talking, you're in this circle because we're not attached. We are attached, okay? We're used to our current life, but we're aware that we're more. We're aware we're ascending. We're aware that realms are opening. New energies are coming through. There's more access to different light languages, to different senses. Our pineals have been reawakening, have been shedding this calcification that we've had. And all of the pollutants are at an epic high on the planet, and disease and cancer and depression and all kinds of things are just seem like this overwhelming problem. And what we are here to do is tune into our own inner rhythm. Only then can you walk through this disaster happening around you. And you're aware of it, you're navigating it, you're doing your best in each moment for yourself and others, but you're not attached to it. It is not dragging you around emotionally. And right now we're in the middle of a huge karmic upgrade. So I invite you to watch the Spiritual Weather Report and do the meditation. I've done it every night since that I did Thursday. There's, if you subscribe below, you do notifications, you'll always know when we do stuff. But there's a playlist for the Spiritual Weather Report I do every week. And I talk about what's happening right now. It's intuitive astrology, energy work, and channeling, and a combination of all the different realms and energies that I talk to. So for me, probably like you, I always loved dolphins. Most people do. And I grew up with that show Flipper, if you're familiar with it. And it was just, a dream come true. And I never really saw a dolphin, touched a dolphin, went anywhere near a dolphin. I traveled the world. I lived overseas. I swam in the oceans from Greece to Italy to French Riviera to Spain to England to Caribbean and Martinique and on and on and on. I had never seen a dolphin myself in person until I started getting dreams when I lived in New Mexico. And that led me to a lady who lived in New Mexico in the desert who got dreams from the dolphins, who told her to do dolphin experiences or whatever. And it's very rustic. It was this. You went to the Bahamas, you got on a boat, not a glamorous boat at all. You got a bunk down below, which rocked, so I couldn't sleep on it because I get motion sick, and I was so motivated to see dolphins. I was being called. I was trying to get pregnant, and it turned out I was pregnant with my daughter Jordan, and but I didn't know, and she was a part of that, connecting me with the dolphins. And then so I found her, and I had met an animal communicator. Her name is Kate Celisti, and she's going to come on sometime, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, to talk with us. She's a dear, dear friend from back in my early spiritual days of my awakening. I was studying everything I could get my hands on. I was reading books. I started studying with Linda Tellington Jones, who teaches something called T-Touch for animals, dogs, horses, and then people. And it's energy work that you do in person. And there I met one of my mentors, Shelley, who I studied with for years, radionics, which is frequency healing, which led me to Rife, and then I became a homeopathic doctor, and then I became a hypnotherapist, and on and on and on and on, and every kind of energy medicine that you can think of. And every step of the way was like putting the puzzle pieces together, that everything is frequency, everything is energy, and everything is information, and that information is thought. And so the first universal law or hermetic principle is the law of mentality. It is a world, it is a universe of the mind. It's the law of mentality. So we have to respect that our mind is the structure that creates this reality, but we are the container is the body, and the brain and the glands and the chakras and all the levels of the light body communicate, okay, on these subtle realms. So while we're focused into the physical realm with the conscious mind. However, you're ascending so that you can be conscious on multiple levels at the same time. Maybe you already do. When you start to understand that your mood is just a frequency, it's like a temperature. Oh, it's 30. I'm kind of cold. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. You can go from lack to abundance by changing the degree. These are laws of the universe. So the frequency of the energy that you hold in your body and your mind, the beliefs of who you are, if it's easy or hard to make money, if you're worthy of a soulmate or not, if you're good at intuitive work or talking to your higher self or not, whatever it is, that belief and things you don't know and things you do know, karmic things like soul contracts and wounds that live in the soul, in the light body somewhere, those have created your whole life up into this moment. Whether you think it was good or bad, or you went up and down like most people, that overall experience was you being willing to complete a lot of karmic wounds. So you get off of this so-called karmic wheel. You stop recreating the same life. You stop living the fated path of, well, my mother had breast cancer, so will I. Well, I come from a poor family, so I'll never be rich. Well, when I was 5, the boy next door told me I had fat arms, and so I never think I'm good enough. Whatever it is, okay? You know that there's a gazillion of these energies living within you, their mindsets, their beliefs, their emotional patterns, their perceptions, they're the way you see things. They determine what you choose. They determine your entire reality. So one of the reasons that I love communicating with animals in general. I started doing animal communication, studied with Kate, and then I studied radionics, and we were working with animals that had passed on, who were being the communication to verify frequencies for healing. And we mapped out the chakras in the cat, the dog, and the horse. They're very different than in humans. And we created a whole series, well, Shelley created, I was there through part of it, this whole series of radionic frequencies for specifically for dogs, cats, and horses, because they always get treated with human frequencies. While I was doing this, I was communicating with animals. My daughter died, and I kept going through these huge transformations and began to speak with angels, and the dolphins called me. I went on the dolphin swim. We just went out in this boat, middle of nowhere for 5 days, couldn't see land, and just waited till the dolphins came, and then we jumped in and swam with them, and it was epic. And I saw them so much, and I got to be in a pod with them and see eye to eye with them. And turns out I was pregnant with Jordan, so I painted her whole nursery full of dolphins. And then I moved, or didn't know I was moving. I came through Mexico 6 years ago. My kids had moved around, gone to college, and kind of ended up together next to my parents. And we was like, we're done. We're moving out of the country. We're going to start traveling and just live wherever we want and work from wherever we want. And then we came here, and within days of landing here, I loved it. I just was like, I had no idea this was like, I love this and I love this, and I could walk to the beach, which is my thing. And I met this wonderful healer. She's a friend now, and her name is Donna, and I call her Dolphin Donna. And she began this dolphin center because the dolphins came to her in her dreams. They came to her and kept showing her, you need to open this center. We need to communicate with people. We have to take our communication, our assistance to a new level, and we have to touch people. Every person we interact with, these are my words, because I had the honor of spending many years, 3 years, getting to go to her center, take my retreats to her center. We do meditating, we do healing work with them, we do play, we play ball. They love playing ball. I was there when they just started to say, hey, maybe they want to play ball, and they kind of didn't know what to do. So I actually started pushing it with my head, because I was experienced energy worker by this point 6 years ago, and I was experienced communicating with crystal kingdoms and water, and going to the pyramids and temples just with our group in Egypt, and activating and vibrating and ascending 4 hours 2 days in a row, just our group in the king's chamber in the pyramids in Egypt. I kept having these kind of experiences and studying with shamans, because everything is raising your frequency, and then starting to understand that everything is talking, everything has a frequency and can speak to you. So the beautiful thing about when you get to be around a dolphin, you get this connection. And if you've heard of entanglement in physics, the minute that you interact with somebody, come within a certain distance of their field, there's another level of interacting virtually that is very impactful, but it's called entanglement. It means if you and I touch hands even once, we are forever within the Akasha, within this field that our entire universe, galaxy, everything exists. We will always be connected. So the dolphins wanted to be able to touch people. They wanted to have that entanglement. So now they can communicate with more and more of humans. And they're such high frequency beings. They have such a advanced brain. They can sleep half the time. They never have their brain all the way asleep. They sleep one half of their brain at a time. And they are here to help us through this time. And they've been bringing joy and raising the frequencies in the oceans, because we have so much water on the planet, and water talks to each other. So they worked with the Atlanteans, they worked with the Lemurians. There's plenty of places in Australia and in Greece and in Hawaii where people interact and see them. They come and play with us. They want this because they need to connect their frequencies so they can help raise us up. And the best part of it is they're full of joy. And joy is a really, really high frequency. So the beautiful thing about it being a really high frequency is that when you're with them, we spend one whole day on the retreat in March. We spend one whole day with them, and we eat there, we kiss them and hug them and play with them, and then we do this emoji, dolphin emoji game. Chris, my partner, named it. We were there too when they started doing that. They're studying speaking with the dolphins. They're studying that in one tiny sound of the dolphins, when you start to decipher it, it is packed with information. It's not just like hi, it's packed. And when you can start to open energy and see how much information is in there. And the dolphins are teaching this. They scan you. When you're with them, they start to raise your vibration, like binaural beats or something with a happy vibration, They start to raise your frequency and they change your brain waves. And you go into bliss brain and you're so happy all day. And what happens when you're in bliss brain? You have a frequency now, literal electric frequency in your body that can connect to higher levels of your possibility. So you are who you are right now because of who you're being, thinking, all the mindsets you have, your identity that you thought you were, even the beliefs that you're aware of that you're breaking down right now, like, that's not true. I don't believe I'm no good. I'm wanting to love myself now, or whatever it is. Whatever your frequency going out is what's reflected back to you. And most people are in a transition, so it's really disconcerting. There's the sense of never feeling quite like you're on steady ground. We're completing a very deep karmic cycle right now, and then we're moving into Pisces. It's the last, so it's another ending cycle in March. And the equinox is in March, and that is the beginning of the astrological year. It is the time we walk between the worlds. It's the time of balance where all these portals and doorways at these vortexes in the jungle where we go, like to the cenotes, the pure underground waters that we go into, or where we have ceremony, or in the temples that we go to at dawn on the equinox. We go there to collect key codes that are waiting for us. Key codes that will trigger your soul blueprint, your soul purpose, your soul path, your understanding of who you are, talents, your gifts, open you up to new levels of intuition. Every time somebody's come here at the last day of the retreat, we have a big party at night. And especially this one guy had come in and he wouldn't talk and he couldn't see anything intuitively. And then he'd start seeing colors and he'd get something new. And by the end of the retreat, he was just thrilled because he probably shaved 10 to 50 years off of his progress of becoming intuitive. And so I think it was the wind. So the frequency shift, when you realize your energy, you're vibrating at a certain rate, you need to look at the scale of consciousness. We use it as a tool in class, and just had a student the other day say, oh my gosh, I love these charts. I love how you can see where you are and you can see where your vibration is compared to something else. And when you're in low frequencies like guilt, shame, victimhood, blame, if you have any area of your life you blame yourself or anyone else still actively, then you're in the second low, you're carrying some of the second lowest state in the world. And then it's in your body, and then it can cause disease or depression or distraction or foggy mind or who knows what else. So the point is that as I went on my personal journey of like, why the fuck did I do everything right and work my ass off and then lose everything that I had gained? And am I a loser? To what else is out there? There must be something else. And I want to know what's behind that. And I want to know what's underneath that. And I wanted to continue to understand deeper and deeper. So I went down a science path. I went down doctorate paths. I went down energy healing paths. I went down shamanic paths. I went to all these places around the world. And I never go to a sacred place anymore now without doing some kind of a meditation, a blessing, talking to the land, asking before permission, doing all kinds of respectful, ancient and current and cosmic paths and things to do that keep you aligned to your highest good, protected, so to speak, so that wherever you go, whatever you do, you are never going to be taking on a lot of stuff that isn't optimal for you. And that's really important, because what the Dolphins are telling us now, we're going to go into some messages, some cards, and a healing in a moment. And what the Dolphins are calling us to do is become aware of our frequency, to realize that if they can get near us, then they raise our frequency. They scan you. I can see energy in my way, and I can see the energy that they're sending, or if they're scanning somebody, or if they're sending waves through somebody from the side, or little dots of energy, boop, 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 into the heart. Or sometimes I would go weekly, and we would have some different paraplegics come, especially one I became very good friends with, beautiful Patty. Hi, Patty. And she'd been in a wheelchair for 12 years, couldn't move anything from the waist down. And she would come once a week, and they would have the Dolphins come over and send frequencies to her. And I got the blessing of being able to be a part of that for a while. And I would be on my way there, and the Dolphins would start coming and giving me messages. And one day they said, you need to put us right here and let us send energy into her heart. And as they showed me that over and over and over, like, look, bring my nose here, bring my nose here, bring my nose here, and very visual. And then I sat for a second, and I was looking at the scene that was being projected to me from the Dolphins. And believe me, like, one of the purposes of this retreat is to shift your frequency, raise your vibration, remove these heavy energies from your body, your mind, your emotions, and the Dolphins can raise your frequency, and they recalibrate you. What I mean by that is they scan you, they see where you have broken or fried energy between chakras or in your body or your cells. Anything, doesn't matter, because they can see the whole energy body. They can see, because you're a light body, you have a mental body with all of those thoughts and all those beliefs, and you have that emotional body and so on, right? So they scan, and they can start to adjust the physical body. They can start to adjust the mind. They can start to release energy that's stuck in the neck, or if you have tension, or if you're having stomach problems. And it's fascinating, because when you get to watch what they do, it's different. We do a thing called the floating meditation. Now, in my retreats, you get to do things with the Dolphins that aren't on the menu for tourists, okay? So it's very, very special that we have this access, and I'm super blessed that they're still here after the pandemic, and I absolutely love supporting this place. They are the most loving people. She's an energy healer herself, and the fact that we get to engage with the Dolphins in a very voluntary way. We're in the ocean, and they get to come and talk with us and kiss, and then we go play, and we act like a pod with them, and they come up and they swim between us. And they're always, even when they're playing with us, they're always watching us, all our dimensions, and adjusting us. Sometimes I see light going out from a dolphin to a multiple bunch of people when we're doing our free play, and they're just doing whatever, and we're playing and throwing balls to each other and all this fun stuff. And then we do a floating meditation, and we're going to do 3 of them this time. So we have our full day where we get to do all these different things, and we're going to have the play, and we're going to have do healing work on each other, intuitive healing work, and I'm going to show you how to do some energy work, some light body healing, and we're going to have the Dolphins around us, and they're going to be coming and doing their own thing. And then when you do the floating meditation, you're going to be laying there, and you get really comfy because you have your life jacket, and then we put another one under the knees, so you can literally you're just sleeping. You bring a little, sun hat that you could put over your face. And we have an hour where we float, and the Dolphins are free to do whatever they want. And we see the photos afterwards, and they're absolutely stunning. They are going under people. They're going around people. They make people wobble like this. They send frequencies. They'll touch the head or the feet or the hands. There's just constant. And for me and for Chris, twice we've gone so far out of our body, floating in the water, that it took them, I don't know, one time 10 minutes and one time even longer than that, almost 25 minutes. Everybody had exited the water. showered, put their stuff away, and were in the van, and they were still trying to get Chris and I to come back into our body. So it's so powerful. It's a spiritual healing. They start taking you to places for your soul. They start to communicate with you from other planets. There's the Dolphinus constellation, which we're going to be hearing from through this series as well. However, there's also these dolphin spirit guides. There's something called the Dolphin Collective. They communicate on different levels. There's the dolphins who are actually here, like my friend Shadia here, was a beautiful matriarch who I did a lot of healing work with, a lot of energy work with, a lot of time I got to spend with her. And so we get to know these dolphins. And then after our full day, we do this floating meditation. You may hear them, you may feel it, but by then you're already so blissed out because they change your brain waves. Now, in the past, we did one day of that. We did several pyramids. We do sacred ceremonies. We go to cenotes, which is a different kind of pure water where we do sound healing, and we receive a new structured water because they hold codes from Atlantis and from Gaia, and it's like being in her womb. We do cacao ceremonies. We do all kinds of this stuff. And this time the dolphins kept coming forward and saying, we need more time with people. So we're doing the full day, and we're going to have 2 half days. And every one of those days, we're going to do the healing 1-hour healing meditation, where you're going to have a cumulative effect now. So if you have healing of any kind, emotional, spiritual, mental, karmic, physical, any form of willingness to release, you're ready for the next step, or you're ready to release where you are. Whatever it is, they're going to cleanse, clear, and balance you. They're going to recalibrate you. They're going to raise your frequency. And when you're in that state, you're going to receive so much love and so much bliss that by the time you leave at the end of this 5-day retreat, and we're going to be staying in a house or places near the beach or on the beach near the Dolphin Center in this beautiful resort town it's a gated community. It's not one of these wild, crazy places where people party till, well, I don't know if they do, but it's not nowhere near us. And we're going to get to be in this beautiful home, private pool. We're going to have intuitive healings, love baths. We're going to be having this incredible experience where on every level, the waters, the dolphins, whether we're with them and we're touching them, or we go have dinner right next to them, right around there's all these little restaurants, and you can just sit and watch the dolphins, and we talk and have a beautiful evening together. And so you can have this experience where you leave your reality, you leave your daily life, you leave your relationships, you leave your job, you just stop your life and you step outside of it. And this is so required. It is so required to get out of that flow and that norm, to give yourself a breath, to listen, because there's so much communication. There's so much support right now. The dolphins are probably talking to you, maybe some crystals, maybe some different gods or goddesses, like energies like Ganesha, who removes obstacles, or the shells that I just picked up a huge bucket full again this morning. Thoth is one of my main guides. Here's Kuan Yin holding compassion for the world. We have this opportunity to communicate and have a richer life. So when you come to a retreat like this, and I invite you to come, and I would love for you to come, and I really want you to look at if you say yes, but not right now. One of the first things that happened during the pandemic was I started to get, when we had that lockdown, was emails from people who had wanted to come to one of my retreats, but had never made it. And I got these emails for anywhere up to 6 months, I think, after the pandemic lockdown started, saying, wow, I just realized I need to do it now. I should have done, would have, and I wished I had. And then we saw a small burst of people going out and traveling and getting out and doing their thing. And now we're coming to a point where figuring out this new life and this new experience is really difficult, and it's consuming people's energy, and it's extremely distracting, and the pressures of everyday life are becoming more and more intense. So whether your business is growing great, like a client I just talked to the other day, she wants to come to a dolphin retreat, and she her business is growing. She can't get enough employees for her business, but she's working all the time. So she knows that she has to get away. She knows that if I don't step outside of my life into a different vibration, into a different frequency, into a different experience, and give myself a few days, I can't break any of the old cycles, and I'm stuck creating the same life every day. So the Dolphins want us to start to become the masters of our frequency. They want us to understand that we have the same capacity. We can tune in. Have you ever slowed your heart rate down? Have you ever gone for a blood pressure test and sat and done even breathing, heart coherence breathing? Have you ever had a foggy, scared, or panicky mind and done alternate nostril breathing? Right? And you just slowly bring all of you into the same frequency, into the same flow, and it becomes coherent, which means your brain can talk to your heart, can calm your nerves, your glands, and everything can come into a higher frequency where then you're not as attached to the drama and the fear. So doing this is what we're going to be doing over the next several years. I'm also going to be coming out. This is one of the things we're going to be coming out with. These are all my pictures of my beautiful friends. And the experience is that we're here in paradise. We're on the sacred ancient Mayan land. It's covered in codes. It's covered with, we're going to have Jaguar Spirit Vision Quest. We're going to have the 3 days, the 3 days where we experience Dolphin physically. We're going to be in our pool. We're going to be in our beautiful home doing intuitive readings. We're going to be going to a Mayan temple, a pyramid at dawn on the equinox to have this incredible ceremony where you will shift. You will go through this beautiful tunnel that they have. It's not really a tunnel. It's just, and I cleanse and clear you, and then we enter the sacred space, and the sun's coming up over the ocean, and it's the day of this balance, and it's this day between the world, and it's the day that starts the new astrological year. And we tap into the ancient Mayan energies. We tap into the water spirits in the cenotes. We tap into the ocean. We tap into Ixchel, the Mayan goddess of the rainbow and the moon, the jaguar spirit. We have sacred ceremony with a Mayan Aztec team that just for us. This isn't like we go to a tourist event. This is only for us. And a cacao ceremony with a multi-sensory awakening. Everything to bring you richness and sweetness and love inside of a safe environment where you and I can all begin to recalibrate and complete that karmic cycle that's ready to go right now, known or unknown, the prisons of lack, the prisons of believing you're anything except for a multidimensional being of vast creative abilities. So this is Picasso. He was my very, very first dolphin kiss. After, when in the wild dolphin swim, I moved here. Within days, I met Donna, and on the day after Trump got elected, I went out to spend the day on this island to play, kiss, do things with dolphins I didn't know you could do. Blew my mind and changed everything in my life. And then I began to have dreams with the jaguar spirit coming to me from the jungle. I was trying to get back to Egypt to do my sacred retreats, and I wanted pyramids. And then it suddenly went, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by pyramids. Mayan pyramids are absolutely stunning. And then I started to meet shaman, and then I started to find that I could go do these things with dolphins. So this is a wildly amazing, unique, rare opportunity. And the dolphins would really love for you to come, because once you interact with them, they can work with you. They can support you. Then they can continue to support you. And they want us to go into freedom. Free yourself from illusions of lack. Become one with the spirit of life. We came to be creators. We are the channel through which divine energy flows, and we have to give it our flavor. What are you creating from? What's the frequency you're creating from? Are you playful with life? Are you joyful with life? When everything falls apart or something you perceive as bad happens, do you plummet down to the bottom of the scale and just live in blame, craving, disappointment, all of these things? Or do you say, oh, thank you, this is interesting, and rise up to a higher frequency so that you are free from the emotional heaviness, and then you don't create your body, your health, your life, right? So just watch some of these beautiful pictures on the screen. These are the dolphins we're going to be playing with, and we're going to be kissing and hugging, and they love it. They love us. I go there and do something called heart-to-heart weaving with them, and when I can't get in the water, I'm just on the side, they come over and they roll on their back, they roll over and show me their heart, and I'm doing something I'm going to teach you called an infinity light weave, heart-to-heart with them. And it is unbelievable. I heart-to-heart weave with them out here in front of my house, even though I don't see them, although they did come recently. So that bliss is true. This little boy was playing with a leaf. He was such a cutie. This is a beautiful lady that came on one of our retreats as she came across with this amazing experience with a dolphin, and she was just, this says it all to me. It's just joy, happiness, freedom, letting everything go. And spending the time in these beautiful Caribbean waters. This is the ocean. It's going to be doing its healing work with you. It's going to be bringing its key codes to you. The dolphins are going to be shifting your frequency. They're going to be re-vibrating everything to a different level, clearing out things, rebalancing things over those days and in between. And the waters are going to be balancing it. And all this love, all this connection over and over, even to the manatees. Oh, I love the manatees. Oh my God, they love to hug you. And the monkeys even come out. This is what this beautiful place that we're going to be in, Fuerteventura, looks like. Look at him playing with his little thing. They love to play. They love to play. Here they are. Throw it to me, throw it to me, throw it to me, throw it to me. They'll come and take it. They'll throw it to you, and if you don't pick it up right away, they'll come and get it. It's so much fun. Absolutely amazing to have their frequency. If you've ever swam with them in the wild, they interact with you much more when you're playful, when you swim down and up and all of these kinds of things. So the joy, this is where we become the pod, and they come and look at us, and then they come between us, and it's like they're just so happy that we're working as one. See, this one is backing up between us. They go back and forth and they come around. It's absolutely amazing. Here they decided to be our leaders. And we do things where we get in a circle, or they come and play. And this is what's so fun, is to be interacting with them in a way that they choose, and they're so playful and they're so joyful, and that they're so advanced. And then we'll do healings. This is Patty, but we'll do healings where we'll have several of us around one person. The dolphins will be going around. You can see them coming up behind me here. They may send energy through you. They may send energy directly to that person. Everybody's getting some kind of vibration because we're all in the same water. And you can see in the background here, these are the little restaurants that are available that you'll go to at night as a group, but you don't have to. And this is the Dolphin Center. It's just right there, beautiful setting, lovely island. They feed us, and this is our floating meditation where you can see the dolphins coming around, and they move. Look at this, 3 of them, one's underneath there. If you can see the energy, they're creating sacred geometry between them through and around these different people. And on the side was a lady who was afraid of water, and she came. She was afraid of water and heights. So if you have that problem, come, because she came twice. And so the Dolphin Center just had somebody hold her over and keep her safe there during the floating meditation. So she was able, and the dolphins still came over to her. And we do this beautiful ancestral cacao ceremony. And then hopefully we'll be getting this same beautiful temple. And the loom at dawn, quite exquisite. So this is where the final activation, going through this temple, I clear and cleanse you after you've had all these healings. And then the next day we just spend the morning with the dolphins and have a party in the afternoon. It's quite beautiful, but this place is exquisite. And this is the temple of the descending God, which means you came down and lowered your frequency to become human, and now we're raising back up again. And then we swim on this exquisite beach right below the ruins. And Christian will be leading a ceremony for us. We're going to do sound healing and stuff in the cenote. This is what some of them look like, one in particular. And this is where we will be. So if you're interested, contact me. Let me know how I can help you find your way here. It is paradise. And to me, I found my home. I don't live there, but I live across the peninsula. This is another cenote that we were going into for one of our sound healings. All right, so let's see. Okay, we'll do that then. Just tuning in. All right. So, lots. Every time I look at those, I get so excited because the energies of that's the cool thing about digital photography, is it captures the actual frequency. So when you see a digital photograph, it's exuding the frequency of that moment. So when we do something on the full moon and you go listen to that recording later, it is encoded with the energies of that full moon. It's very fun. So you just received a frequency bath by watching all those photos and tuning into our beautiful retreat. So it is nanakasha.com/retreat, or you can go to the shop, or you can look down below here if you're watching this on YouTube. And all right. First, the Lemurians would like to share a card with us. And then we're going to have our first healing. Well, we're already having our healing, aren't we? So these beautiful Lemurian cards have really captured my heart. Izzy Ivy, Beyond Lemuria. I highly recommend them. And I have a lot of cards. And these ones I got about 6 months ago, and the Lemurians have been coming in. They've been standing around me in different calls or classes. They've been making themselves, I'm very connected to Atlantis through Thoth and through other things, and always here when we do our temple pyramid activation, we almost always have an Atlantean life come. We may go to Atlantis through the temple. One time people learned what they did in Atlantis in one of their Atlantean lives. What was their skill? What was their vocation? That was also their spiritual skill. Very beautiful. So this is fun and new for me to be playing with the Lemurians. And when you're here, we will be doing Atlantean energy. You can't really walk through the waters here without connecting to a lot of ancient structures. And if those key codes are waiting for you, wherever we go, then you will be gifted with those. And I want to let you know, you also carry key codes for places, people. And so when you come on a retreat like this, you're going to be leaving your key codes, all right, around. All right, so we invite into this sacred space and acknowledge the infinity healing chamber that we have created, that we have risen to this state of infinity, and that we're here with these beautiful dolphin realms and all these dolphins who've come to us through these beautiful photographs, through the joys, through the stories, through me, through you, and any connections you've had from them. And there really is a joyous and almost upward spiral of dolphins at this moment inside of this infinity healing chamber. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and bring it in like this, like a dolphin is giving you a bubble, and you're going to take it in and you're going to bring it in and go, and it's going to rise up and just sit right here around your brain. Hold it there. Let the breath go very gentle. And they're showing that bubble is staying there. You know, if you've ever seen the videos, they know how to make bubbles and spin them and turn them into tunnels and do all kinds of things. That's very interesting. So we now have this etheric bubble from the dolphin. This is the Dolphin Collective. Thank you. And this is a bubble brain. They're saying it's like a bubble around your brain so that they can speak to you. Those little dots that go up to a conversation bubble in a cartoon, you know, boom, 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 boom. They're sending. And they said with this, they can isolate your frequencies and start to tune you into their frequency. I've never experienced this before, so I invite you to open yourself, relax into the moment, and say in your heart, I am ready and willing and open and receptive to receive this connection, this upgrade, and this healing from the dolphins and the dolphins' realms, the cosmic dolphins. And I accept this communication connection. I give permission to my intuitive team, my higher self, I am presence, my body elemental, and Gaia. I enter this sacred space in reverence, honoring myself and the dolphin kingdoms, honoring these realms of waters, honoring the reason that I came here, the message that I listened to be here now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enter the sacred space. Feel and sense yourself here. Almost like a flower opening. There's this spiral around us, going up, up, up. And at the top, it's almost like a fountain. And there's little dolphins all the way along this spiral, almost like a staircase, and they would be at the top of the handrail. They're not really moving, but the spiral is moving. So everything is one, and there's a movement. It's very slow. And as you stand and bring yourself here, I'm open and receptive to cleanse, clear, and realign my intuitive network to the optimal frequencies for me at this time. Send that intention, thought intention out. And now the Lemurians are here. I'm working with them. There's a rainbow, not rainbow people who have headdresses that have angular shapes, and within that shape, it's like whatever it's made out of is rainbow, diagonal rainbow energies. They have very clear faces. They're slight Asian eyes, but broad, strong, and angular. The jaw. They're small, angular noses, and some of the eyes are blue, some black, like a fish almost, and some have a ring of greenish blue. Small mouths and chiseled jaws. There's three, and it's just the face. And it's almost like they're royalty, these things on their head. They're flat. They're almost like a frame around the head. Namaste, namaste, namaste. There's a turtle. The turtle itself has a shell that looks like when we would polish the inside of an abalone shell, that kind of mottled green, yellow, pink, orange. And it's very precious. The turtle is coming up from this third being. Moo? Well, I have asked, are you Atlantean? And I get a clear no. And I've asked, are you Lemurian? And I get a yes, but, and then I just heard we are Mu, 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 Mu. Okay, we are Mu, M-U. And something to do with Bali. So there's a connection now here that's coming into our space as we create this sacred temple. We are going to be coming back to each call through March 7th when Saturn enters Pisces, and our old structures will begin to dissolve. Our intuition will begin to balance, and our flow will begin to be from within us as we acknowledge that infinite flow. They're watching, and there's something about royalty. The first two heads, one looks a little more feminine, one looks a little more masculine, but there's not a clear distinction. However, it is like they are the head, they are the representative, they are the king and queen, they are some kind, and they want to be here, thank you, to bring a new language, to bring a new, well, it's coming through like a new reality, a new world, a new ancient civilization, and old but new to us at this time. And the consciousness is extremely clear. It's like a clear bell. It's 6D. They're showing they are living now in 6D consciousness. And so as we're starting to understand that we can take our body out of 3D with us through the sticky world of 4D into 5D consciousness, in 5D consciousness, there is no blame, there is no judgment, and there's a high perspective. And they say we have mastered that. And now we are creating in the sixth dimension. The sixth dimension is where the creation of what you experience in this world comes from. So we are creators that come from a similar root as you. We come from Gaia. We come from a strong culture of Dolphin and all spirits of the animal, of land and sea, of air and even earth. We have a strong resonance with the dolphin in the wave of a new dawn. It is a wave now. They have been here balancing. We have been here. We had our time on the planet. And then we learned to shift our frequency into 5D consciousness. You're doing that now, but you're doing it not from a voluntary place. We reached a place in our culture where we voluntarily moved forward, and our ability to shift our conscious awareness, our perspective, our ability to hear frequencies, to interpret energies within our bodies, from a dis-ease, within the nature around us, within the environment around us, within the spirit within us. We came from a place of simplicity. We played with the world. We touched the rocks and we enjoyed the water. And then we became more and more of a curiosity. We became full of curiosity, and we wanted to understand more of these realms that we could touch and taste. And we got more and more into that physical realm, and we loved it. And we created so many delicious things and so many things that made the tingles in the space, and we wanted more tingles, and we wanted more and more and more, and we began to feel like we couldn't find enough, we couldn't consume enough. And then when we consumed enough and we felt satisfied, we forgot that we were the creators. We forgot that we were the ones bringing the energy through. And then we began to believe we couldn't control the world. We had no part in the creative reality. And we started to shift from being the playful creator, playing with the materials and experiencing life and building new worlds, yet staying into the truth. When the frequencies get so low that you switch, your awareness becomes embedded in heaviness. And we lost that beauty. And the dolphins were the ones that woke us. And the dolphins are here today for you. They want so much to touch you, to speak with you, to dream with you, to weave with you, to play with you, to bring you to a level of joy. Because then you will start to switch. And remember, you are the creator. You are not at the mercy of the vibration. You are the one choosing the vibration. They seem to have faded now. That was interesting. Thank you. Part of the images I was experiencing as they came through was they were playing in the world and enjoying it. Then they became so consumed with the world and the 3D that everything they saw, they wanted it and they wanted it. And it kind of reminds me of now when, now I know what happens. This is still burning. Fantastic. Greed and scams are at an all-time high. There's a sense of desperation. People are trying to consume and to protect, and that desperation creates people and things to be acted out and chosen from fear. And desperation makes you think that nothing matters, that the only thing that matters is protecting your fear and the cost of other people. So they showed me that this cycle has happened many, many times. This cycle that we're in, where cultures, began to access higher frequencies, understand that everything is alive, that you can co-create with all of these beautiful beings, and that we have the opportunity to co-create with them. But we've become so absorbed in me, my body, my money, my reputation, and this and that we've forgotten we are the playful creators, that when we're in joy, we can enjoy the world, but we're not controlled by it. It was quite profound. And then they showed that they went down to that low and they were in this little corner, and the dolphins started to come to them and started to play with them and started to spin in a vortex with them. And then they rose up and they kept just raising their vibration a little bit so that they could remember that they didn't have to suffer. We don't have to suffer. Struggle and suffer is a choice. And I'm not saying that you can stop everybody from doing something you don't like them doing, or stop people who are emotionally abusive or abuse their children or their wives. You can't just go, everyone stop doing that, because you're supposed to control your own reality. And when you create a reality where that is not a frequency you are attached to, then you create a different reality. So they showed me that we're at that point, and that they're here to show us how to come up out of this, and to let listen to the dolphins, let them create that vortex, let them raise your frequency, let them bring us all together up through this spiral staircase. And this fountain at the top is this joyful spring. It's the clear spring of that infinite source, that pure energy that comes. And they said that when you navigate the fourth dimension, which we're doing now, we're in and out. And if you meditate or do my work or do other high light body work, or go to vortexes or pyramids or stuff like that, all of those kinds of things, you can leave in your body and travel. And they said, if you get high enough out of your body, or if you will leave your routine so that they can access your body, or if you realize that up here is play. It's like they said, right up here above this is your crown, is this fountain. And it's really where your higher self is, because it's playful. It knows that you have powers that you haven't accessed. So the dolphins and the moo, I think I've heard of a land moo, but I have no idea. So I'll figure that one out. They went through this, and they showed that it was a long progression, because they got stuck in the fourth dimension a lot. And that's what's happening now. More fear, more pain, more of the past. You step out and you start to be yourself. You start to do healing work. You start to become an intuitive. You start to make choices that make you happy. Somebody doesn't like it. Something falls apart. Something didn't work out. You get down. You think you can't. You go get dragged back into those patterns. And that's what the fourth dimension is. It's where all of these fear lives. It's where all this karma lives. It's where all this gooey shit is that we're leaving. We're completing. So all the structures in the mind that are ready to be completed in this karmic cycle, we give thanks to the moo and the dolphins, to the elements of water, to the sacred space, and to this beautiful gathering as we come together to communicate with our dolphin guides and have a healing experience. Take a deep breath in. I accept and receive this healing, this communication, and let it vibrate with me in the most optimal way. Let it go like water moving through your body, washing away the old, bringing you into the center. Now that spiral staircase is spiraling within the entire central channel of your body, up. It has now been activated until we meet on March 7th, and every time we meet between now and then, it's going to bring you up. Be bringing this dolphin energies gently and slowly, continually raising you up, raising your vibration, helping you to free, helping you to let go, helping you to restructure. Now, as you come and receive all of these beautiful energies into this moment, the Crystal Kingdom asks to send a message. We are here as well. One of your guiding frequencies, the crystalline consciousness that you are beginning to access the crystalline structure that you're beginning to remember and to transmute into, all the way into the physical. These are structures that we have within us. We know that we can guide you, we can hold the frequency for you, we can jumpstart it, we can recalibrate it, and we work with the dolphin consciousness, the cosmic dolphins, the dolphins in the waters here, pure and ocean. We work with the dolphin spirit guides, the ones that have worked with the Huna indigenous tribes of Hawaii, and who have worked with all of the tribes throughout South America and the Caribbean, who've worked with the Maya and have worked with the Aztecs and have worked with the Native Americans and throughout the world. And this is an extra added frequency that we ask to bring to you now. Each time you re-enter this space together with us, we will bring new frequencies to you from the crystal kingdom that is optimal for you. And we will connect you to the sacred dolphin healing and all the families throughout all of the tribes and the sacred traditions and the communications and the co-creations from the Atlanteans, Lemurians, Mu. Thank you for doing this. This restructuring is your soul's path. Namaste. In la ketchalakin. I am another you, you are another me, and we are one. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, dolphins. Thank you. What a beautiful and incredible space. And we're going to see what the Lemurians have to say through these cards. Surrender, number 48. Surrender. So that's a 12, which is a 3. And this looks like complete surrender. Surrender into the stars, into the sea, into the circle of life. You are one. This is what the dolphins and the Lemurians will be helping us all to do. Thank you. Namaste, everyone. I hope so much that I will get to see you. Please come to the retreat and do it now. Give yourself this fresh start. As far as the next path in this year of 2023, we are having some volatile energies after the equinox, which is one reason why I'm doing a lot of the work now with my students and clients. We're doing the retreat. If you join the retreat, you get 2 dolphin healing on audios, and you get a private session with me, 60 minutes with me and the dolphins for communication, healing, traveling to your other lives, looking into your soul purpose, whatever is optimal for you. And you get to have a chance to really stay connected as we do the vision quests, and we move into that sacred 5 days together. And then we each move out into the world, spreading that love that we receive from the dolphins and the waters and our ceremonies and our gathering. So you are of an important part of everything that we do on the planet. And I thank you for being here. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. Make sure you get on nanakasha.com, because we will let you know when the next one of these is. Hi, Petronella and Marnie and DM.